Hola, gringas y gringos. Welcome to
Gringos Are Us.
Expats with a Plan.
This week, we're going to show you El Señor de la Conquista here in San Miguel de Allende, right after this.
Well, welcome back. Just have to say, wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Major wow.
And honestly, my only regret, I think, for that day is the fact that I had to work. So let's just preface this with what happened that day. Very briefly, I remember hearing fireworks, and the sun wasn't up yet. I didn't want to get out of bed.
I was up and came down here, or came up here, excuse me, not down here, up here at 6 a.m. to hear what the commotion was, and fireworks were going off. And I could actually hear drums. And I'm going, what is going on? So I went back down to try and get the cell phones to see if I could capture any of the fireworks, and by the time I got back up, alas, they were done.
But you did get some.
I did get some.
You got a few. So David, one of our subscribers and our friend,
Here in San Miguel.
told us about this. So this is a festival that happens every year on the first Friday in March. I'm going to give you a little bit of the history in the video. But essentially, I did have to work. It starts at sunrise and ends at sunset. And I had to work, and so we really didn't get down there until, I don't know, I think it was about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Yeah, well, you had to work, and I had to make a cigar run because they don't open.
Right.
They're only open to sell me my cigars Thursday or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I made a run. She worked. I drove.
But I think we got there about 3.
Yeah, we got there about 3 o'clock.
Roughly about 3. And we took a cab. There was no way
We
were gonna,
knew we weren't going to get parking.
Yeah,
so
we took a cab. And it was pretty crowded. I think so. The nice thing is that I finally had an opportunity to go inside the Parroquia, but because of this special day, the Parroquia still had a lot of people inside, and I didn't get a whole lot of video because I didn't want to be intrusive.
Well, the other thing is on that day, the parishioners go in and they say 33 prayers, one for each year of Jesus's life.
Yes.
So there are people in the church pretty much all day.
All day.
Yep.
Yeah. It starts with the service in the morning for the indigenous who are there for their dancing. Mm-hmm. And if you go to the Facebook page for the Parroquia, and I will put the link below, there actually is video of the service they had that morning with people in their indigenous attire. I will also put below a couple more links that are related to the types of dance or the dance troupes that we were able to identify while we were on site.
Yeah, when we first got there, it was sort of like, well, okay, what is this? Because there was actually nothing going on. We happened to catch maybe the only 30 minutes that nothing was happening there when we first got there.
Right.
And while Gina was in the church, I suddenly saw them starting to congregate and was like, you might want to get out here. So.
Indeed. And the church bells started to ring. So I knew something was about to happen. Yeah. So I got outside.
And then the drums started. And then you will see from that point on.
Indeed.
All the fun that it's had and the pageantry, and it is spectacular.
It was, I really wish we could have seen the entire thing, but please enjoy.
The 6 a.m. fireworks.
Many indigenous dancing groups come together at the Jardín right outside of La Parroquia. Inside the Parroquia is El Señor de la Conquista. El Señor de la Conquista, which means Lord of the Conquest. The Lord of the Conquest is a crucifix of Jesus Christ. Inside the Parroquia, there are many, many saint figures and El Señor de Conquista. The reason that they have this festival is to celebrate El Señor de la Conquista. He is a life-size figure of Jesus that is made from corn stalk and in a process that is called pasta de caña. Pasta de caña is quite literally corn stalks and glue made from corn stalk, cactus, and orchid bulbs.
It's an interesting combination, but when you see it, you go, wow. And the biggest advantage is the weight. That entire crucifix is 12 pounds, and it's life size.
They carve it just like they would wood, and then they make another paste that also has ground up cornstalk, cactus, and orchid bulbs, and they layer that on top of the core and actually start to form the figure, the face, the hands, the feet. Then, once that dries, they sand it. Once they sand it, they then polish it. Polish is made with chia oil and insect larvae, which is very waxy. There were two Franciscan friars who were carrying two of these Christ figures.
Yeah, they were coming from Valladolid, which is modern-day Morelia, and they had a small escort of Spanish conquistadors that accompanied them on this journey from Valladolid to San Miguel. Just not too far outside of San Miguel, they encountered the Chichimeca, and there ensued a battle. And both of the friars were killed. There are numerous stories, but the one thing we do know is that the crucifix does end up in San Miguel.
And there were two. The second one is in San Felipe. So for over 400 years, the indigenous come to dance, not just because of the story of El Señor de la Conquista, but they come to dance to show their pride in their culture. You could smell the copal smoke in the air. When we first arrived at the square, there were actually some purification ceremonies happening. I learned after watching some of these dances that many of these people make their own outfits.
I have a feeling that this is one of the biggest events in the year for these people.
and that they work on these over a lifetime.
There were some that were in varying stages of costume completion. Yes.
And it did seem that the older dancers had some of the more elaborate, and that's what led me to believe that this is an ongoing process that they work on for their, as they go through life.
The feathers are just stunning. A lot of the really long ones, those are pheasant feathers. But I don't know what some of the other ones are.
And they were dancing so hard that feathers were coming out, and you would see them pick up the feathers so that you knew they were going to be replaced.
Around their ankles, they have these little, they're kind of like seashells.
Yes.
I don't think that's what they are, though.
No, I think they're almost like a nutshell.
A nutshell or something. And they make rattling noises that Mark said sounded like frogs.
When the drums stopped and they would walk around, if you have never experienced the bayou and heard the frogs, this is exactly what they sounded like.
This gentleman is blowing on a conch shell.
Yes. And just when we thought, okay,
We're done.
we're done, no, we're not.
No. We learned really quickly that this seriously goes on all day.
One leaves, and here comes the next.
Now, we're not experts by any means, but in general, this style of headdress is most commonly referred to as Azteca. But there are differences. I did notice differences between groups. And there are native dancing groups that we missed that remind us a lot of Native American dancing groups in the United States.
Well, one has to remember that a lot of Mexico used to be part of
Absolutely.
the United States, and there weren't borders.
Oh, wow. So this group, I was fascinated. What is that on their head? I just could not figure it out. They were fun, and they had very thick-soled shoes, like sandals, and they had the drummers, and they had two dancers that were dressed up like Spaniards, maybe?
I would say. And the one thing that separated this group from the others was the two that were dressed up in the Spaniard and carried the bullwhips engaged the crowds on the side nonstop.
They were fun.
This one actually used a violin when they got down to where they actually did a lot of their dancing, and this violin almost becomes hypnotic.
One of the Spaniard characters had snuck up behind me and was playing with my hair. I thought it was Mark. I haven't figured out yet what it is they're holding in their left hand. But in their right hand, they had something like I want to say like a maraca.
Yes.
And the left hand was holding this other thing. Here comes the Spaniard, one of them, with his whip.
And the drumsticks were very similar to wooden spoons.
And one was bigger than the other.
Yes.
That was different too. The Matachines dance is a deep religious dance. Most of the time, these people are venerating either the Virgin Mary or a saint. What I loved about this is look at this little child. This is about more than just some incense, plumes, flowers, shells. This really is a celebration of their faith,
Their heritage.
and their heritage, music, and a little mysticism. And so, wasn't that amazing?
What do you think? Leave a comment below. It was outstanding, unbelievable.
I would seriously honestly, if you're going to be anywhere in the San Miguel area, within an hour's drive, I'd say, you have to come up. First Friday of March.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's must see.
And
So-
thank you again, David, for telling us about it, because we had no idea.
No, we didn't, and we would have hated to have missed that.
Oh, we would have heard it all day. We would have been wondering, where's that marching band again that we
Yes.
keep hearing on the street? Yeah. We have some more things coming your way as soon as we pull it all together. We got a couple trips, a couple videos regarding Dolores Hidalgo,
Yeah.
because there was just so much that we couldn't possibly stick it all in one video. We are going to a couple other Pueblo Mágicos. We got a wonderful neighborhood tour of Colonia Guadalupe this morning. And what else am I forgetting?
That's about what we've got in the can right now. So
Yeah, that still needs to be
it just needs
processed.
to be processed, but it's just ready to go.
Busy. If you enjoyed watching this video, stick around. We have a few more that are going to pop up on the screen that may be just as interesting just for you. And remember, we are Gringos Are Us.
Expats with a plan.
We are doing it. You can too. Hasta la próxima vez.
Adios.